Good morning. Welcome to part 2 of balancing redox reactions. So we just went through and did one example. So guys, I really believe that you need to see more than one before you take off and start doing these. So what I did is I just found another example. I'm just going to work it out for you. I'll go through step by step by step by step. I would highly suggest that when you start these that you have this set of notes in front of you so you can read step number 1, step number 2, and I'd also highly suggest that you do it in rows. Write and rewrite, write and rewrite, or else everything gets so bunched up together it's almost impossible to make out where you're going and what you have. So in this one I have a dichromate and a nitrogen monoxide, and it yields a chromium ion and a nitrate ion. So I'm going to go ahead and write it as my two half reactions. So the first one is going to be Cr2O7 with a -2. And then that is going to yield, and then that's my, on the other side, Cr plus 3. So that's the first one. The next one is going to be NO, and it's going to yield NO3 minus 1. So when I look at this, what I need to do first is I need to just simply go through and balance my non-oxygen and hydrogens. So I have 2 CRs here and I have 1 CR here. So I'm going to put a coefficient 2. Now that gives me 2 and 2. The nitrogens 1 and 1. So now the only thing that's not balanced is my oxygens. So now I'm going to go through and start to balance my oxygens. So I'll start on this side. I have 7 oxygens. So if I have 7 oxygens, I'm going to have to add 7 waters, H2O, to the other side. So now that gives me 7 oxygens and 7 oxygens. I come over here and I look and I say, oh, okay, I've got 3 oxygens and 1, so I need to add 2 H2Os on this side. So make sure that you remember where your two half reactions are. So now I'm going to go through, it says my oxygens, I am now going to do my hydrogens. So as I get ready to do my hydrogens, what I need to do is I need to look at how many I have. So right here I have 14 hydrogens. So that means on this side I am going to add 14 hydrogens. So now I come over here, I have 4 hydrogens. So on this side I'm going to add 4 hydrogen ions. Alright, so now guys, when I get to this point I always rewrite it. Okay, so far I can keep up with it pretty good, but you see how it's kind of getting crunched together. So what I want to do is I want to go back in and I want to rewrite this. So I'm going to put 14 hydrogens plus Cr2O7 with a -2, and that is going to yield 2 Cr plus 3 plus 7 waters. Alright, so now I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. So as I do the same thing, I'm going to say 2 waters plus the NO yields the NO3 -1 ion plus 4 hydrogens. Alright, so I rewrote it, and now I'm going to go in and I'm going to balance out my charges. So when I look at this, I have, on this side, I have 14, positive 14, but I also have a -2. So that means that on this side, I have a positive 12 charge. And I just scribbled it right there just so that I could see it. On this side, I have a positive 6 charge. So I have a positive 6 and a positive 12. We don't have to take this all the way back to 0. We have to get the charges on both sides to be even. So if I add right here, 6 electrons, then that now gives me a positive 6 on this side and a positive 6 on this side. So this one is going to be balanced. So remember, it doesn't have to go all the way back to 0. It just has to be the same on both sides. All right, so let's look at the other side, and it says there's 0, that's -1, and then this is going to be positive 4, so that's going to give me an overall charge of a positive 3. So if I add 3 electrons to this side, I now have 0 and 0. All right, so guys, do you see what's going on? 6 and 3. So I don't have to multiply this one by anything, but I do have to multiply this one by a 2 in order to get my charges to be 6 electrons on this side, 6 electrons on this side. So when I do that, I'm just going to rewrite this side as 4 waters plus 2 NOs, and you can see I'm just distributing my 2 all the way through it. NO3 minus 1 plus 8 H positives. Now guys, this time when we add them together, I'm going to add this equation to this equation, my reactants, and then my products. So I have 14 hydrogens. So guys, you got to kind of watch a little bit. You see how I do have some hydrogens over here as a product? So what's going to end up happening is these 8 here are going to cancel out 8 of these hydrogens. So actually I only have 6 hydrogens left. Then I'm going to have a Cr2O7 with a -2. My electrons are canceled out. So now I'm going to look over here. I've got waters. See how I've got 4 waters here in my reactant, but I have 7 in my products. So that one is going to leave me with 3 in the product. So I'm going to leave that right now, and I'm going to finish out my reactants with the 2 NO. So now I'm going to do my products. So I have 2 Cr plus 3s, and then this time I have 3 waters left because they canceled out on both sides. And then over here as a product I have 2 NO3 minus 1, and those have already canceled out. So that should be my overall balanced redox equation. Did you see how this one is a little bit trickier because you had hydrogens occurring on both sides and waters on both sides that you had to factor out? All right, so what we're going to do is I hope that that helps you. And then after this set of notes, this part 2, I do have a couple of questions for you to do, and one of them is a balancing just for you to get used to it. All right, I hope that helped. Thank you.